You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you with another Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. Now, the last place we left off, oh yes, we had just had another little run-in with that shadow thing in our mind. The darkness, as I'm calling it. I'm going to be doing some special voices for the darkness from now on to really drive through how terrifying this must be for Orion. So, anyway guys, sit back and enjoy for the next 20 minutes and let me entertain you. And let's jump right into it. Alarm Shan, you're up. There we go. Alright. Humans aren't Praekin, are they? I narrow my brows in confusion. Besides, I didn't want to waste your candles for a silly rain. I make up an excuse, not really wanting to admit I was so far gone that my mind was incapable of logical thought. Seeing my reaction, the wolf smiles awkwardly. I felt bad about leaving you alone. I understand. You have duties. I look back at the world beyond the window. The rain doesn't let up, but despite that, it's getting quite bright, as if the clouds are slowly parting. The wolf notices that too, and lowers his head so that his muzzle can fit into the gap I've left in the niche. An hour or so, and it won't be so gloomy. I don't mind the rain. I utter the words with a defeated tone. The rain can be nice, especially on such a warm day. Ooh. Depends. Ranok sounds hesitant, and it forces me to regard him. It's strange to see his powerful jaw so close to my face, his lips curved into an expression of discontent, one fang sticking out in that now familiar fashion. That's when I notice he's all wet, fur clumped together in soggy streaks. I can't help but smile at the sight of this damp wolf. I move my face closer, almost to his cheek, which causes his eyes to quickly center on me. He is cautious, and I can feel a slight embarrassment, but he doesn't move. Once my nose is almost touching his fur, I take 2 quick sniffs. You don't smell. I muse with satisfaction. Should I? I pull away at his confusion. I don't know why, but I thought a wet wolf would smell bad. Ranok straightens up, looking down at me with a bold smirk. Oh? That's when he shakes his entire body, akin to what a wild wolf would do. Oh god, I hate it when dogs do that. His neck fluff and longer strands of fur dance around, sending droplets cascading in all directions, but mostly on me. Ranok, what the hell? I yelp out as I'm being showered with this cold wolven rainwater. Finally, the air fills with the subtle scent of his musk, dewy and reminiscent of a forest in the early hours of the morning. I look up at him, my skin speckled with rain, slight annoyance in my expression as it's quickly replaced with terror. Ranok, no, don't you dare! My screams turn into squeals as the giant wet beast envelops me in his arms. I struggle in vain as he lifts me up with ease. He tilts us backwards, allowing gravity to do the rest. I sink into his waterlogged fur, struggling to breathe, my feet kicking in the air. I start laughing while he spins us around, dripping water all over the place. You're an idiot! I laugh as we finally come to a stop, and he plops me back down onto the ledge. I grimace at the wet splat and realize he sat me down directly into a puddle that formed there. The loincloth is stuck uncomfortably to my bottom, with the cold sending shivers down my legs. I immediately jump off. Sad and something. He grins smugly. I try to shove him in retaliation, but despite putting real effort into it, the wolf doesn't budge, while I feel as if I just rammed a wall. Ranok simply laughs at my futile attempt at roughhousing. I would pay you back, but I'm afraid you'd fly out the window. I simply nod in agreement, looking back at the world outside. If we ignore the broken glass and splinters, it doesn't sound all too bad. Oh? He inquires with amusement. At least I would be out of this damn house. Are you not happy here? It's not that. You take great care of me. I couldn't wish for more. I shake my head, causing the wolf to smile in relief. But I'm slowly losing my mind here. When I'm alone, it's like the walls close in and whisper at me. What do they whisper about? His question causes me to pause, unsure if I want to unpack everything that's going on with me. I decide to brush it off in a half-teasing manner. That I'm inadequate? I reply in partial jest. Are you saying that my house is secretly throwing shade at you? That's probably because you refuse to piss on it. We wolves always mark our territory. It took offense. Well, excuse me, princess. I'm sorry if I didn't want to piss on your house. He sneers and I just chuckle. It's hardly my territory, is it? While you're here, my territory is your territory. Well played. But despite him lifting my mood, I really do need to get out of this cottage. Since we're both wet now, I look at him with a pleading smile, we could just as well go out for a walk, just a short one. Seeing him frown, I know it's not an option. He looks at me apologetically. We really shouldn't. Everyone knows I'm here anyway. You're not supposed to be seen. We'll go into the woods. No one will be better there. No one will be there in this rain. And even if, let them see. Keeping me out of sight only adds to the rumors. How are the tribe of wolves? How are the tribe wolves to ever see me for who I am if I'm being hidden like a dirty secret? They'll continue to fear and speculate as long as we continue this. I can see Ranok is unconvinced, standing there silent with his arms crossed. I'm not a prisoner. Am I? I ask partially in jest, but also to make him understand how the situation is starting to feel. Of course not. He seems almost offended. And I'm not an embarrassment to you or anything. What gave you that idea? Again, I look out the window. This time I smile clearly dawning my face. Then a walk would be lovely. Ranok approaches the window. I watch as his massive form passes next to me, his scent permeating the air. He rests one paw on the wall as he hunches slightly to look out. His ears splay back as he turns to me with a pleading expression. You want to go out in this weather? Can't we wait until it stops at least? Then you'd say that too many wolves are about. I grin, gently embracing his free paw with my hands. He looks down at my gesture while I start tugging in the direction of the door. Come on, it'll be fun! Ranok remains hesitant, but eventually smiles back at me and allows himself to be pulled towards the door. If I'm forced to make up memories, I may as well make real ones with a real friend at my side. I don't know why I've said it out loud, but I'm instantly glad I have. The wolf's smile widens, his tongue slightly peeking out of his muzzle. Did he just blep at me? I can hear his tail whoosh behind us in excitement as it spatters the floor with more water. You go out front, and I'll go through the window. I laugh at the absurdity of our little outing arrangement. Okay, just give me a moment to leave my gear behind. The wolf nods happily and walks off, while I rush to the ledge and open the wings. The rain slushes over the sill, immediately creating a puddle that leaks into the room. I guess it'll give me an excuse to clean the house again. Ooh, oh, I love the rain. I push myself over the edge, waiting for the wolf on the other side. The cool droplets contrast immediately with the warm breeze gently kissing my skin every now and then. This is quite invigorating. I laugh as Ranok finally arrives in a sorry state, his fur clumped and hanging heavily. Wet wolf! I laugh at him, forgetting that in this scenario he has the upper paw. His determined, challenging smirk proves that I've just made a mistake. Within a second, he's on me, enveloping me again in his soggy fur. An even wetter human. Yep! At first I struggle in his embrace, only causing more water to drip onto me, so eventually I simply surrender. As the wolf pulls away with a cheeky smile, I cannot help but to laugh with him. You're such a pup, said the tiniest adult I've ever seen in my life. He sneers and I just shake my head. Come on, let's go. I pull at his paw and he's still reluctant to move from the spot. I want to take my wolf for a walk. I jest and Ranok smiles, almost smitten by my words. Just as I am about to let go of him, he takes firm hold of my hand. I try to contain a blush as we walk into the trees, hand in paw. We walk away from the cottage with no soul to be found, as everyone has hidden from the rain. I can see that the soggy fur isn't a sensation Ranok enjoys, and I begin to think it's a shared sentiment among his kin. Despite his clear discomfort, he walks with me, a joyful gait in his step. I can see he's happy for me, happy to do something to help me feel better, and I cannot be more thankful. Everything smells so fresh and new, and I take it all in. Eventually we leave the thicket surrounding the cottage and enter a large glade dotted with dandelions. I laugh, letting go of Ranok's paw and simply spinning around. Despite how gloomy this day is, the meadow looks cheery and bright with each golden flower glimmering like a star in the dark. There's so many of them, it's so beautiful! They're just weeds, he scoffs in amusement. There's nothing prettier than a yellow flower on a rainy day. I look up, closing my eyes and allowing the raindrops to wash over my face. I bring my hands to my brows, clearing up the excess water with a laugh. This is wonderful. It feels so invigorating and cathartic, almost as if the taint of darkness was being washed away from me and I was cleansed of all my worries and troubles. I noticed the wolf looking at me with dreamy eyes. He seems truly glad to see me this way, even though his ears are flat and tail tucked. He's enduring this for my sake. I laugh again as I approach him and grab his paw. I tug one more time, pulling us into a sprint. He doesn't ask why and simply matches my speed as we run through the glade, blades of grass sloshing at our legs and joint laughter filling the air. I see the mist rising, with delicate sun shafts piercing through the clouds every now and then, bathing us with speckled light. It all seems like a dream.
What brought this up?
He tugs at my hand for attention, and I look at him with a wide smile, just blinking away the rain. Although we come to a stop, I still slowly wander around in place.
You're practically beaming. Did you remember something?
The wolf asks with a clear hope in his voice. No, I chuckle. But I will remember this. I stretch out my arms, simply enjoying the moment. Ranok opens his muzzle in surprise, but quickly smiles boldly, approaching me with purpose.
I can give you something else to remember.
And before I can even react to the statement, the large wolf rushes at me at full speed. I did not have a chance to duck as his paws enveloped the back of my head and spine. He tackles me and pins me to the ground, his embrace cushioning the fall as I release a loud oof. The only discomfort I feel comes from his crushing weight pushing me deep into the wet grass. Ranok! I yell, and before I know it, he starts to roll us. The world spins around as I gasp for air each time I'm above the grass. I hear the wolf laughing, his deep voice rumbling inside his chest, and I just join his glee. Everything smells like the forest dew, his wet fur gently slapping my face on each rotation. Suddenly he releases the embrace and allows the force of our last roll to throw me off into the grass. I land on my back, hands stretched out, almost touching his paw, as we lie next to each other, breathing heavily. Oh, that's beautiful. I gaze into the sky, seeing as the rain slowly lets up and the clouds begin to part. I smile, noticing the first signs of a rainbow forming, the colorful arch stretching just in front of us. Yep, there you go. That's the thumbnail.
You were right.
The wolf croons in the afterglow of our frolic.
Rain can be nice.
He smiles. Anything can be nice when you're around. I catch myself exhaling in utter bliss. The wolf blinks at the statement and turns to face me.
You really mean it?
He asks in disbelief. Of course. There isn't a shred of doubt in my mind. Ever since I woke up in this strange world, Ranok has been at my side, always supportive and encouraging. He keeps my darkest thoughts in check, and my empty mind slowly fills with memories that I wouldn't trade for those I've lost. You're my anchor, my safe haven. I admit it, giving him an encouraging gaze, and I see he's struggling to hide his emotions. I mean it.
When we first met, with you tied up and bruised, and then stabbed, I thought you would never...
Never say never, I interrupt him. No point for us to relive any of that. We're here and now. Oh god, such a cute couple. I look back to the rainbow, filled with unexplainable hope. I search for a distraction, but instead I've got a reminder. No matter how heavy the storm is, eventually the sun always comes out. One just has to simply weather it, and I fully intend to. I smile, holding down tears, looking at the wolf beside me. He's admiring the colorful arch as if he has seen it for the very first time. I bet in his highly structured life it's easy to lose sight of the simple things. I'm glad we got to share this moment together. Would anyone trade it for an unknown? Thank you, Ranok. For everything. He simply nods. God, such a sweet... God, I hope they get together. I close my eyes, and for the first time, I truly allow myself to enjoy the present, just as he told me to do the very morning when I was stabbed. Despite both Varissa and Vul calling him a fool, he has the wisdom of the heart. He has the wisdom of the heart, and I can find myself trusting it more and more. If I have a compass, it is pointing at him. I might be really falling for that wolf. We spent some time resting in the glade, not really talking much, but just enjoying each other's company. The sun came out in full force, caressing us with warm rays and drying off the rain. I could stay here forever, but eventually we get up, deciding it's time to head back. We walk towards the cottage, laughing and pushing one another in a teasing fashion. Despite how wet he got, Ranok's mood seems to be soaring.
Well, that was quite fun.
I nod as he helps me up the window. Again, his paws wrap around my butt, but this time I'd rather enjoy it.
Don't slip.
I nod, watching the wolf rush off into the distance. As I slide from the wet ledge, my feet cause a splash, and I notice that pretty much the entire bedroom is flooded. A shallow puddle form reaching all the way towards the bed. I simply fetch one of the buckets from the kitchen, noticing Ranok enter. He's dressing up again.
Right, I've got to see my father real quick to deal with a few things.
But it's all wet! Well, I can't very well see the chief just in my pants now, can I? I guess. I chuckle, seeing the wet cloak slap against his back. Poor wolf. Don't worry, I'll be back in a moment. I nod and bring the bucket back to the bedroom. I use one of Ranok's old loincloths from the chest to soak up all the water and wring it into the bucket. It doesn't take long to get the room dry again. Once I'm back in the kitchen, I decide to prepare the fire. The wolf is completely waterlogged, and I bet he will enjoy having some warmth once he's back. I take a few pieces of wood and secure them in the hearth. I also retrieve the fire striker, along with the flint and some kindling. Mimicking the wolf, I attempt to get the fire going, but with little success. No matter how hard I try, I cannot figure this out. With the perfect timing to notice my failure, Ranok enters the cabin, looking at my efforts with amusement. He just stands there, resting against the doorframe and silently judging me with a smug smile on his muzzle. I keep striking at the flint in growing frustration until I give up and look to Ranok with mild annoyance. What? You're only building a fire, not inventing it. He chuckles, leaving a sizable bag on the table and approaching me. The wolf kneels, embracing me from behind, his paws swooping on both sides. Here, let me help you. His cold, wet fur brushed against my back in stark contrast to his warm breath enveloping my neck. I swallow heavily as he takes charge of my palms, warm beans pressed against the back of my hands. It only takes him 2 strikes to get the sparks going, both literally and figuratively, as my heart begins to race in mild excitement. He gives me an amused side-eye, most likely picking up on that slight change as he presses harder against me. His muzzle leans in seductively, almost brushing my cheeks as he blows at the small flickers hiding inside of the kindling. A shiver of his chest expands, pushing slightly against my back, allowing him to huff and puff. Well, he can blow my house down any day. If I'm a little piggy, then he did blow the roof off my... Oh my god! I didn't even read that line, and oh my god. Hell, this pair's Orion and I are of the same mindset. If I'm a little piggy, then he did blow the roof off my house for sure. The flames rise with each of his breaths, slowly enveloping the wood. We stay this close only for a moment, but it feels like an eternity. And just like that, as if nothing happened, he lets go of me and stands up. We should dry up before we get our little feast started. I nod, glad that he knows when to stop pushing my buttons, and that he's kind enough to spare me the awkwardness. He begins to undress, and I help him strip down to his loincloth, spreading his gear near the hearth so it dries up quicker. For me, getting rid of the water is a trifle, just a towel and a few runs up and down my naked skin. But the wolf, that's another story entirely. He has a hard time drying up his fur, and I now see why he hates the rain so much. I decide to help him out, rubbing his body with a towel, soaking up all the moisture from his back which he cannot reach on his own. He seems rather pleased being serviced like this, simply allowing me to do most of the work while he stretches out and tenses his muscles. He's teasing me again, but I don't mind. I'm happy to help him, and seeing his tail wag in joy is my own reward. Once he's dry and slightly puffier than usual, I chuckle and look at the hearth. So, what are we having? Rabbit stew. He smiles, pointing to a small sack lying in the corner of the room. Got it myself during our patrol this morning. I grimace, realizing there's a dead creature in the bag. What is it? Please don't tell me you don't like rabbit. He pleads, walking towards the cupboard and opening one of the drawers. No. It's just, if you need to do things to it before it's edible, I'd better sit this one out in the bedroom. The wolf sneers, retrieving his spare pair of pants. Are you that squeamish? Don't worry, he huffs, struggling to put them on. It's already prepared. Oof! He issues another strained exhale, pulling the leather over still slightly humid fur must be rather unpleasant. Wouldn't do that in the house anyway. That's what butchers are for. You mean Volgar's side job? Funny you should ask. He's the one who prepared it. Was quite happy to do it too. You two are obviously getting along. He lifts up the bag and unloads the contents onto the table as I blush at his comment. There's a slightly bloodied linen bundle which most likely contains the rabbit meat, along with a few celery sticks, potatoes, carrots, a bushel of spinach, 2 garlic cloves, and a small purse. I look at the little pouch with curiosity. What's in it? Lentils. He responds, seeing me eyeing out the entire assortment. We go easy on the veg in our stews, but versatile humans are pretty fixated on their greens. That we are. I smile, nodding, while the wolf approaches the hearth and pushes up a lever on his left side. This causes a chain to emerge from within the chimney, hanging down with a metal hook on its end. Ranok uses it to fix a sizable cauldron within the fire, while I decide to help prepare our meal. He provides me with a knife, and I begin cutting the celery, cubing potatoes and carrots. Don't cut yourself. Sharpened it this very morning. He winks at me coyly, and I almost do exactly that. Dickhead! I call out as I graze the tip of my thumb. The wolf erupts in laughter as I flap my hand around. I quickly bring the finger to my lips to kiss it. Note to self, never entrust Orion with sharp objects. Ha ha, thanks for your concern. I grumble, still suckling on my thumb. You didn't cut it. And how do you know? Because I'd smell blood, silly. I narrow my brows in bemusement as I return to my task. The house fills with an extremely pleasant aroma as he fries the rabbit pieces inside the pot. Once he cooks them to his satisfaction, he fills it with water and sets to boil. You gotta wait for the stock to get ready before we dump the veg. I nod. I must say, I wouldn't know how to even start with any of this. I envy you. You never cooked? Oh, there we go. Alright guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. This has been a new episode of Far Beyond the World, Ranok's Path. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!